Good morning, guys. Okay, so yesterday Alice and I went grocery shopping and we got all of our stuff for this week, lots of fresh produce and stuff like that. And so today I'm going to spend some time throughout the day doing different prep to get the produce and stuff washed and cut up and put into storage containers. I need to cook some chicken for Will's chicken burrito bowls that he'll be having for lunch through the next week. And then prepping basically whatever I can so that way come dinner time during the week, it's easier to assemble. I'm not doing meal prep in the sense of, like, if I were just prepping for myself, I would make all of my dinners and package them. I'm not doing that just because when you're prepping for a family, I don't have that much room in my refrigerator. And so I'm just gonna get as much ready as I can to make it convenient for the kids to easily grab snacks and stuff like that. So I'll bring you along as I do that throughout the day, just show you what I'm doing and kind of give you an idea of how I do that. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, so I'm gonna deal with the fruit first, which apples and bananas are already out. The kiwi from Costco I emptied into that bowl. There is 21 kiwi in that package, good deal. I gotta wash and rinse the blueberries, blackberries, and grapes and get them into containers. I've got these Tupperware brand produce savers. So I'm going to go ahead and put the blueberries and the blackberries in this one. Now I'm going to go ahead and get all the grapes off the stem, put them in this bowl, rinse them, drain them, and put them in a container. Alright, so the first bag of grapes is done. I'm going to go ahead and rinse those because it's about over half of this bowl. And then I'll go ahead and do the other one. I think I'm going to package some of these up into small snack size containers, and then the rest of them will go into a container, a bigger container. But that way there's some just ready to grab for the kids and for my husband's lunch. So I've got some of these little containers. I believe they're 1 cup size, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 8 ounces. And I'm just gonna go ahead and fill these with grapes. And then the rest of them, again, I still have 1 whole bag left. We'll go into a bigger container for refilling these probably. That way these are easy, quick to grab, and they can just grab a cup out and snack. Okay, so those are filled up. That's all that's left out of that. So I used almost all of that 1 bag just to fill these cups, which is kind of surprising. But these grapes were only 88 cents a pound at Fresh Time. So they were a really good price, and I couldn't help but grab 2 bags. So hopefully we'll eat them before they go bad. I'm sure we will, but Alice already just grabbed some to go with her breakfast, and she's having pancakes, and she had a little bit of blueberries and a little bit of grapes already, huh? You're sampling all the fresh fruit. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that other bag done. All right, and the other bag and what was left of the first bag of grapes fit in this container. For some reason I was thinking I was gonna need this big one, but I way underestimated or overestimated. So they all fit in this one. And I'll go ahead and get that on there, and that way we can refill those little cups out of this container. Over here I've got my grapes in the containers, the extra grapes, and then the berries are in this one. And then I need to wash the celery and carrots and get those into a container for quick snacking as well. So I cut the ends off, and now I'm just gonna go ahead and wash these, and then I'll cut those in half again for smaller snacking size. I usually buy baby carrots, but I went with whole carrots this time. I find that they're a bit sweeter, and that's just what I was kind of craving. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim off the ends, and then I'll scrub them up. I'm not necessarily gonna peel them. I'm just gonna go ahead and scrub them rather than peeling, and I will store those in with the celery. So here we've got the snackable carrots and celery. Some of the bigger pieces of carrot I did cut in halves or even in quarters because there was a pretty big carrot in there. So I'm gonna let these kind of drip dry a little bit. I've got to run the kids down to the school bus. Then I'll package these up in one of my Tupperware containers and they will be ready for snacking. Okay, and the kids are on the bus, so I just packaged up, or boxed, whatever, carrots and celery. This container is a little bit big for what I need it for, but they wouldn't fit in any of the smaller ones. Next time I'll probably buy 2 bags of carrots or 2 pounds of carrots, just to have more and to kind of fill this up more. And so that's that. There's our veggies. I also have the hothouse cucumbers down here. I don't like to cut these ahead of time though, because I find that they get kind of yucky and slimy. I forgot that I also had those grape tomatoes in the fridge as well. So I'm going to pull those out and keep them on the counter, which is the best way to store them from what I know. I don't know why I put them in the fridge, but these I'll just wash as we need. These will be for snacking. Both kids really like tomatoes, and then also for salads. And as you can see, or if you can see, it's a little bit dark inside the fridge. I've got all of the fruit right here on our top shelf. Will's lunchbox usually goes right here, so I try to keep that space open. We've got the cucumbers, like I mentioned. And if you watched yesterday's grocery haul, you've seen all this. I bought the hard-boiled eggs from Costco. Down here, we've got our avocados so that they don't get too ripe. And then our salad mixes. And I need to cook up some chicken today, which is what's in there. That's chicken tenders. That's just some cheese. And then this is the kids' drawer. This cheese is for the little boy I babysit. His parents brought that. So it's just up there, kept separate. But we also have string cheese down here for the kids. These little applesauce tubes, Go-Gurts, and mandarin oranges down there for snacks. Okay, so next I'm going to get everything prepped. My husband's going to be taking chicken burrito bowls for work lunches rather than his typical peanut butter and jellies. So again, we're cleaning up not just our dinner meals as a family, but also his lunches. And so I'm gonna go ahead and cook up the rest of this jasmine rice. This was from Aldi. This big bag was like $2 for like 5 pounds, but there should be enough rice left in here. And then I'll substitute riced cauliflower that I bought from Trader Joe's if I need to bulk that up a little bit. But I'm gonna cook that in here. I'm gonna get this pan ready with chicken tenders, and I'll just cook up one whole package. The other package I'm going to freeze. I've got 2 meals next week that are going to be for chicken. One of them is a dinner meal, and one of them is he's going to take chicken pasta, like cold chicken pasta for lunch next week. So I'll freeze one package and I'll cook up the rest in the oven for his burrito bowls and then extra snacking if there's any left. With my jasmine rice, I do like to, I don't cook it in chicken broth because I don't want to add, I realize this is the lower sodium, but I don't want to add all that sodium in with it. So I cook it in water, but then when I'm done, I add a little bit of butter and some chicken broth to kind of make it a little bit creamier. And I've shown that in another video. I'll link it here if I remember. It's actually my chicken burrito bowl video that I show you how I do that. And then I do corn and black beans in with the burrito bowls. So his are basically going to be the corn, black beans, chicken, rice, and then shredded cheese and red onion, and then a little bit of Trader Joe's salsa verde. So hopefully that'll hold up well. I'm going to prep those today because he'll start taking those tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and set the oven to 425 for this chicken. I'm going to go ahead and season it up and then cook it for about, I think about 20 to 30 minutes. I'll check it in between there. So let's get that preheated. Let's get our water in for our rice, and I'll be back soon. All right, so here I've just got the black beans draining. I rinse them with cold water. I just pour the can into this little strainer that I got from Pampered Chef, and then I rinse them with cold water until they stop, the water coming off of them is not foamy anymore. So I always rinse them until they're no longer foamy and the water runs clear, and then I'm just gonna let those drain until I need them. And then I also, looks like the water's ready to go for the rice, so I'll throw that in. I've got the chicken broth and the corn ready. I need to get the chicken on this pan, and then season that and get that in the oven here shortly. It's still preheating, so I've still got a few minutes. Okay, so the rice, I couldn't find the lid for this pan fast enough, so I just threw that one on there. The rice is going to be done in just a few minutes. I've seasoned the chicken and the oven is preheated. So the ones that have like the red seasoning, that is some Mrs. Dash like Chipotle type seasoning for the burrito bowls. And then because the kids do like to snack on chicken as well, I didn't want to do spicy, so I did just some original Mrs. Dash on those ones. So I'm going to put this in for 20 minutes and then check them and see how they are. And then like I mentioned with this other package of chicken, It's going to be used next week, so I'm not going to use my my food saver to seal it for freshness or whatnot, because it's going to be pulled out in a few days and defrosted, but I didn't want to just leave it in the fridge because then it'll get gross. So I'm just going to put it in a freezer bag and put it in the freezer so I can pull it out next over the weekend when I do meal prep again for lunches and dinners. The rice is done, and what I like about jasmine rice is it's already kind of creamy. You can see that. But I am going to add a little bit of Kerrygold butter and a little bit of chicken broth just to kind of keep that creaminess so it doesn't harden when it's refrigerated. And this is what it looks like after I added about a 1/4 cup of chicken broth and just like about a tablespoon or teaspoon or so of butter, just to kind of give it a little flavor and keep it creamy. Because once that absorbs in there and you mix it in with the other ingredients, hopefully it'll hold up for his chicken bowls. Like I mentioned, he can't microwave it at work, and so it's going to be refrigerated, and then it'll kind of cool down a little bit in his lunchbox. He does keep an ice pack in there, but you don't want it, like rice gets hard when it's refrigerated, so I don't want it to be like hard and not tasty. So this is trial and error. We're gonna see how it works for his refrigerated lunches this week. But once this cools down a little bit, I'll go ahead and start assembling the bowls, and then the chicken still has 14 minutes, give or take, and I just have to cut some red onion, and I think that's it for right now. Okay, so here's the finished product for my husband's lunch meal prep, which is a big part. The dinners that I have planned are actually going to be fairly easy to throw together the night of. So the main prepping was in his lunches. So each of these has basically a burrito bowl, which to us, the bottom has rice and then a little bit of salsa verde on top of the rice for flavor. And then I've got black beans and corn. On top of that, I put the cut up chicken breast that I cooked in the oven, topped it with a little bit more salsa verde and cheddar cheese. And then he's got a hard-boiled egg and some grapes in each of these. So that's his main lunch portion. He will also take a protein shake with him that he drinks as he leaves the house in the morning. So he works a pretty strenuous job. It's manual labor, lots of lifting, and so protein is going to be good for him to keep him fuller longer and to also help with, muscles and whatnot. So there's the lunch. I rearranged things just a little bit because these actually fit nicely in here all stacked. So I took the fruits and veggies that I prepped and put them on the second shelf, so that way the kids will know what's easy to grab. And then this is just leftover chicken broth that I didn't use today, and then the diced red onion. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. This took me about an hour and a half to get everything prepped, cooked, and assembled, so not too bad. And then I do have a little bit of chicken left that I need to kind of throw in a container and put in the fridge. But if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, I would love to have you as part of the family, so go ahead and hit that red subscribe button down below, and we will see you next time. Bye.